What's up trainers, it's Cash and welcome back to the channel. So today I thought I'd make a quick short video on how to clear the central lane or the jungle properly with Zeraora. We'll briefly talk about the early game, which is going to be under level 6 prior to you getting your first move, followed by the middle to end game when you unlock your discharge, and Plasma Gale at level 9. Just something to note that for the purpose of this video, I will be sticking with the muscle band for consistency and of course the weakness policy, as that's an item that you should be running on Zeraora no matter which build you do. So let's get into it. Alright, so when you first jump into a game, you're going to obviously select the slash move first. This allows you to leap over the wall and start hitting the first piece of farm. And as you'll notice, you're going to be consistently taking damage and proccing that weakness policy. From here on out, I would recommend always going for the blue buff first. This gives you that extra 10% in cooldown reduction, which makes your moves obviously come out faster. The last hit here, you're going to quickly use agility beforehand. You're going to work your way to the ball toy, hit it a few times, and you're going to walk up to the second ball toy, bring them in the middle. That way you're not wasting any time, and you still have the weakness policy that's consistently procced. Coming over and finishing off with the red buff here. I think that this is probably the fastest way to do it. And you should be done by 9, 12, 9, 11 at the latest to come either... Well, actually, in this case, you're going to be up top for that first objective well before the 9 o'clock mark. Alright, so moving on, we're going to pretend that you get level 8, obviously at the appropriate time. Ignore the fact that it says 8:30. So there's two ways that I see people clearing the set of bees or the Altarias by themselves. One I find to be very ineffective, and for me personally, the way I'll show you first, to be the most effective. So as you can see, it took almost no time at all, obviously with the weakness policy. What a lot of people do is they will dash in, proc their discharge, which lasts a total of 2 seconds, and then they'll refuse to come back and again proc that return damage. Because the way Volt Switch works is your initial dash only does 40%. Versus the return dash gives you that additional 60%. Of course, it's not a lot, but in hindsight, if we're talking about clearing bees as quick as possible to get to that next power spike, you want to be using the kit in its entirety. And so, of course, when you dash in initially with Volt Switch, you're still increasing your attack speed, which is great. It allows you to proc your boosted autos faster, dealing more damage, and healing yourself. But again, you're cutting yourself short of that remaining 60%. So here's what it would look like if I start exactly at 7 o'clock. It took me about 5.5 to 6 seconds as opposed to the earlier one that I showed you before. I think it maybe saved about 1.5 or 2 seconds. I'll put the text on screen. So this for me is ideally the most effective way of clearing, specifically here a set of bees, the most efficient way, and especially with the weakness policy. If you're not running that, then you're just hindering yourself and you're hindering the team as well from getting to your power spike a lot quicker. So now that you're at the end of the game here, let's pretend that it's around 2 minutes and 30 seconds. You have both the blue and the red buff up, as well these 4 ball toys respectively. How do you clear the jungle efficiently? This is how I personally would do it. Bring the buff out. And that way you get both in one hit. You're not wasting any time. Moving up to this one here. Again, bringing the two together. And it shouldn't take no time at all. Now before I wrap up here, I just wanted to mention that I am working on a discharge versus wild charge video, talking about both kits, the pros and the cons, which you would use in certain situations and why. So stick around for that. As always, if you enjoyed this type of video, let me know in the comment section down below, and subscribe to be notified when future videos do go live.